I'm joined by our partner, Leigh Sassone, Regional Sales Manager from Backroads. In the next few moments, we're going to go over some of the top reasons why you should consider your next family trip with Backroads. Leigh, thanks for joining us. Let's start talking about what families should expect from a Backroads trip. And maybe tell us a little bit about your slogan, your pace, your day, your adventure.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for having me, Juan. It's great to be here to speak with you all. And so, what we'll talk a little bit about with Backroads and our pace. And so, here you can see on the slide, we offer a few different types of trips. What's great with these for families is that you can have a diverse offering, especially if you have a few different members of your family. And when we say your pace, your day, your adventure, Backroads sets the itinerary for you. However, each day you're going to be presented with a few different options of activity that you're going to be able to participate in. Each activity is going to be kind of based on distance as well as elevation. And so, if for instance, one particular day you wake up and you're feeling really energetic and you want to go the distance, our leaders are going to work with you to get the best route for you to be able to do that. If someone in your family or you yourself wake up, you're feeling a little sluggish on a particular day, our leaders will also be able to work and have a route or option that's best for you. So you're able to go at your pace. Each time you're out on a bike or walking, you do have a GPS. So the leaders will put that route into your GPS. That way you can follow along, you can stop and take photos. If you go through a beautiful village, you can really take your time. And that allows anyone who also wants to go really fast to be able to go ahead. And so that's a little bit of how we pace our day.
Yeah, and I think one of the key features about Backroads that our clients love is that although it is a small group of maybe 15, 16, 20 people, maybe it's max, and you have group like activities. You don't have to be with a group. You might be with 4 or 5 people. You can go by yourself. You can go with your friend. You can go with your wife. You can go with your kids. It all really depends on what you want to do that day, which is really a really great flexibility that Backroads offers.
Exactly. We don't do follow the leader type trips. So
Yeah.
everybody gets to go at their own pace. If you want to stay with a particular person, great. What's really nice in families is that each person can go, do their own. If they want to stay together, great. Or if they want to have some separation and maybe meet at lunch or a little later in the day, you have that flexibility. And what's really nice is that our leaders are going to be there every step of the way, kind of shadowing the group, making sure that everybody's taken care of. And so if for any reason you need to take a break or you need a cold drink, our leaders are going to be there to help you and make sure that you're comfortable and really enjoying the trip.
And one other point that clients come back with that's really important, I think, is that one of the reasons that they'll go with their family on a Backroads trip is because the families on the trip are going to be similar of nature, of age, and it creates something really interesting when you travel. Besides going to see a new destination, experiencing a new destination, there's that social aspect as a family. Maybe you want your kids to be able to interact with other kids. It makes it a little bit, it makes it dynamic because you have that family aspect of your core family, but also that social aspect where your kids can meet other kids and have experiences that are different, not just with you. So it's a really nice thing that you guys have been able to create. And that comes back from that institutional knowledge. You guys started in 1979. Tell us a little bit about the company, and maybe also tell us a little bit about why you have developed such a loyal clientele. They come back year after year.
Absolutely. Well, we'll start off with the family dynamic. And so there you can see our founder, Tom Hale, and his daughter, Avery. They're both involved in the business. And Tom has started this company back in 1979 and has really developed the product over time to be able to accommodate all different groupings of people and different levels of activity. You can see there at the bottom of the slide, our family trips are actually broken down into 3 different segments. We're one of the only active travel companies that do this. So we have our teens and kids trips, we have our older teens and 20s, and then 20s and beyond. So when you're searching for trips, this is really a great tool to help you find the best trip for your family. And what we found is that oftentimes families with younger children really like to travel with other families with younger children. And then families with older children may not want to be on a trip with a 6 or 7 year old. And so this is really great to have that socialization for the kids. And then most of our family trips are going to be based in that multi-adventure format. And so what's great is you're going to get a diverse range of experiences throughout the trip. And in the morning, the leaders will normally do a family activity. And then in the afternoon, the children will get to go off to do a separate activity, which will leave the parents. They can do something more strenuous, or they can just kick back at the hotel with a glass of wine and relax a little bit. So there's a lot of flexibility. And what's great with these family trips is that social dynamic that parents just really love for their kids. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to go over to the next slide. So, really, what brings guests back to Backroads time and time again, and you can see we have about a 75% repeat rate, is going to be that curation of experience and activities with that 40 years of business. And so you know that you're going to get a very high level of service, a very high quality product. And no matter whether you're taking a trip in Australia or South America or the United States, that Backroads experience is going to be consistent. We have incredible trip leaders who are employed by Backroads. We
Yeah.
don't outsource any of our leaders, and they're there to connect with guests. They're there to ensure that guests are having an incredible time. And we refer to them as Renaissance men and women. They need to be able to take care of all the guests, the equipment, drive the van, set up the meals. And they're there every step of the way to get to know you and get to know your family and make sure that you're getting the most out of the trip that you can possibly have.
Yeah, and I think for our clients who travel with you over and over, it's really about those trip leaders. And a case in point that you and I had, we had our friend traveling in Peru. She always travels with you during her birthday, and we just let the trip leaders know, and they just love creating something really unique for someone's birthday to make them to help them celebrate that birthday and that celebration. So those trip leaders are really key in all of these trips. And I think one other thing that I think is interesting that you guys are able to do, that you allow us to do, is sometimes when you're looking for that first trip, like you said, it's important to know who's on that trip and the age group. Many times we're able to find not the actual names, but we'll know the ages of the kids, or at least a little bit of the background of the families that are on there, so that we can help you marry with the exact trip if you're in between two trips, for example. I think that's something that people should know as well.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a huge service that we offer and that a lot of people take advantage of. And so you can see our average group size is about 10 to 12. Sometimes it will go to 15 or 20, but we can always take a look at the existing demographics, let you know if there are children that are similar ages to your child, or just what that breakdown is. So again, you can find the best trip that's for you and make sure that when you go on these small group trips that there's going to be plenty of like-minded individuals with you as well.
and so there's some incredible itineraries. What are some of your personal favorites? And maybe let's talk a few tips and tricks on how to choose the perfect family. Your first family backroads trip.
Absolutely. So, highlighting here, we've seen a really, especially kind of coming out of the pandemic, families traveling with children that are 20 and older. It's really great that families can get to travel together. 20s and beyond really love, especially when the parents are paying. But we've really seen a growing market for this, and we have a lot of great itineraries that cater for families with older children. So, one of the first that we like to highlight is our Iceland trip. We do our glacier and coast multi adventure tour. If you're looking at the bottom, you can see that the activity level, this is really something that is important to look at when you're searching for trips. All of our trips are ranked levels 1 through 5. 5 is going to be the most difficult, 1 will be the easiest. And so, depending on your activity level and the family, you'll kind of want to base what you're looking at on those activity levels. Now, each trip is going to have a small variety. So, here you can see activity level 2 to 3. So that means each day the leaders are going to provide a small range of activities within that range that you'll be able to choose. So, you may want to do something at a certain activity level. The children may want to do something maybe a little more strenuous or not, but it gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility, as we've mentioned during the trip.
Yeah.
Another really great thing to look at is the accommodations. And so each trip has either Premier, which is going to be 5-star luxury hotel. And what we've noticed is that a lot of Backroads guests, while they love the activities, they also love staying in amazing hotels throughout the globe. And Backroads curates a really special collection of hotels during the trip. So take a look at the accommodations. And then if Premier may not be your style, we also have casual hotels, which are going to be, think more national parks, lodges, or more rustic destinations. And what's nice with the casual hotels is that they're all amazing properties. Again, Backroads curates, but it will be at a slightly lesser price point. And so, again, if you're traveling maybe with a larger family, then you know exactly what to expect.
And then I think Iceland is a great destination as well, just because, coming from the East Coast, it's such a short flight, right? And you just arrive 4 or 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours from JFK or from New York. So it's a really, great itinerary, especially for, families that have kids that are working already, because you can sneak out for 4 or 5 days and then come back to New York or to the East Coast to be able to enjoy it. So that's a great itinerary.
Yeah, and what's another thing to keep in mind is that while backroads trips are about the activity, we also really look to incorporate a lot of cultural elements into the
Yep.
trip. So you're going to be meeting with locals, you're going to be going to local restaurants, local villages. Most of the time, our guides are from the destination where the trip is. So not only is it about the activity, but really think of these trips as a cultural engagement, getting to know the place that you're visiting, and especially places like Iceland or our next itinerary, Croatia. It's really great to have the ability to kind of embed yourself with the locals.
Yeah. And I think that, especially in these two destinations that you're talking about, they're actually a little bit hard to be able to travel because there's long distances. For example, in Croatia, people don't know that you actually have to cross a border. What's great about a backroads trip is that you get there and everything is laid out for you. You don't really have to think about what you're doing the next day. You just have a piece of paper, you know what time you're going to show up, and off you go. So it's a really
Mhm.
wonderful way to experience the world without really having to do that planning and that, like, what am I doing today? Oh, where do I have to go? The guides and the trip leaders are there for you to be able to kind of guide you and make it super easy. So this is a
Yeah,
great example of that.
we take all the stress away. Normally we find
Yeah.
in the family there's one person who is the planner, and perhaps they just want to take a break from the planning.
Yeah.
And so
Great point.
when you join that backroad trip, all the activities, we're going to know the best places to go, the popular sites, but also places that are a little bit off the beaten path. And that way, while you're going throughout the week, you don't have to think. And another good thing to point out is that throughout the backroad trip, all the meals are included. Normally, what we'll do is 1 or 2 nights we will leave the meals open so families or couples can go and go where they want to eat or maybe just have a break. But what's really nice for all the other meals and the experience is that you're going to be eating at amazing restaurants. You're going to be going to these amazing destinations, and you don't have to worry about signing a check or who's going to pay, or we don't know if we want to socialize because who's going to pick up the bill. You can relax, everything is taken care of, and just enjoy the experience and enjoy the people that you're traveling with.
Yeah, no, that's one of the reasons why, you're working all day, and all of a sudden you really just want to enjoy. And this is one really wonderful benefit of the back roads. And I think one other a tip for a lot of our first time backroaders who travel. They kind of put this in the middle of maybe a 10 or 12 day itinerary. Your trips are 5 or 6 days, and they really want to do a deep dive in a destination. They'll arrive, 2 or 3 days later. Then they'll join the backroads trip, and then really relax and enjoy themselves the last 2 or 3 days, and maybe treat themselves to us, to a really special hotel at the end, and just kind of veg out. But it's a really great kind of thing, backwards, to put in the middle and then be able to do the pre and the post.
Yeah, it's well said. We really value our advisor relationships. Backroads, while we have a great trip, we do not offer kind of pre and post flights or hotels or activities. So working with an advisor really gives you that rounded experience. So that way you can, tag a few nights on either end, but know that you're going to be taken care of. Your advisor is going to look out for you, is going to give Backroads all the relevant information that we need to make sure that you're having an amazing experience. And so not only are you going to be taken care of on either end, but your advisor will make sure that when you're on your Backroads experience, that you are well taken care of and everything is perfect for you.
Yeah, I tell you, we love working with you guys. There's so much knowledge. We work with you. We'll work with your reservations team. We'll work with the leaders, and it's so easy to work with. So we really appreciate your partnership. And thanks again for joining us and kind of going through some of these ins and outs of Backroads and sharing some of your favorite itineraries.
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Look
All
forward to
right,
working with you.
talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Take care.